Hello there. This is Geeks Assembled again. I'm joined as usual by Susan over there.
Hello.
Hello, and as people may know, we're doing the ongoing series of the new Doctor Who, and today it's episode 4,
Mhm.
entitled 73 Yards. Story mainly for Ruby this time. The Doctor and Ruby arrive in Wales. The Doctor steps in a fairy ring. Say no more about that. Um, and disappears. So after that, Ruby starts seeing this woman, which is she's about 73 yards all the time distance, uh, wherever she goes, and it's her struggle to figure out what's going on because the Doctor doesn't reappear until the end of the episode. So we'll go over to Susan and her opening thoughts on 73 yards.
All right. Well, I just wanted to show you what in the US we have these are what we consider fairy rings.
Mm,
They are in grass that is well kept, and they're little mushrooms that grow in a circular pattern, perfect
yeah,
circular pattern on
we have them here. Yeah,
on you know in the garden. And I mean, it's like it's amazing, like you can actually, they're contagious, if you mow a lawn with fairy rings, and then you mow a lawn without fairy rings using the same lawnmower, you're transmitting the fairy ring. So anyway, either that, or they're like there really are fairies sort of dancing the in the middle of the yard at any time. Anyway, so cool. I didn't know that they had that sort of mythology about the barriers between land and sea in Wales. The
mhm,
longer I go, the weirder Wales sounds to me. I mean,
yeah,
first of all, they got rid of all their vowels, and second of all, they they I mean, they have these zones of influence between land and sea, and then they have the rift in Cardiff Harbor, and or as you say in Boston, Harbor. So I mean, like there's just so much weird stuff about Wales, and I think that's I mean, that is probably why RTD is so incredibly bizarre. I think that's fun, and stuff like that. And the other thing is uh this one became sort of a Doctor Light episode. It was a Ruby thing. It showed a complete character development from someone who is feeling disempowered and lack of courage to someone who is able to utilize the whatever supernaturally is happening around her, um, to overcome a known evil, and only known to her. I mean, she didn't go on telly and say, this guy, doesn't he look tired, or he's an evil son of a bitch, and he should probably never go on being, the prime minister, or all this stuff. She she wasn't privy to all of it, but she was privy to a lot of it, and she heard him say that stuff about nuclear stuff, and so she knew then that she needed to move. And and her her creativity at that point was really cool. The other thing was, it was heartbreaking seeing Kate Lethbridge Stewart using her whole name now, not just Kate Stewart, but Kate Lethbridge Stewart. she's put the Lethbridge back in, at least in this timeline, and she she went and met with her, and she was broken up. I mean, when the 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 ancient Ruby spoke to her, she got really tripped out and left. And I mean, her mother did, her her anybody who spoke to the ancient one of her with the perception filter and all of the stuff that's going on, Doctor Who stuff that's going on, you know, all of that would bring people to run away in fear. And so she was able to manipulate that that minister, that prime minister, into running away in fear, and saving the world. But the whole fact of like this whole being like uh weeping angels kind of experience. But my friend Susan Wyman, was just saying that it's not that. It's like that there's actual like like magic spells in that fairy ring that first of all caused the doctor to disappear. Second of all, everything that she read caused this explosion. Third of all those weird people in that pub, they all fed into it by, wah, being so weird and hard on her. And I thought that was just I'd heard that it's really hard to get along with people in these small villages in the UK, and I know, especially with like that Torchwood episode, Countryside, and this one. I mean, wow, what kind of evil lurks in oh, and that one about that movie that we watched about that one village with the house and stuff. Oh my god, that was crazy. Anyway, so anything else really important about this? Um, it was also a story in patience, and the patience of someone who knows something and who is trying to find the right way to utilize that thing. And so that was also really interesting. And I don't have that kind of patience. I mean, I know something, I'm going to put something on the internet. I'm going to put something on my Facebook. Or I'm going to just tell you, my fans and listeners out there on this podcast, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And so, yeah, it's hard for me to keep a secret. And, Ruby proved that she could.
Mm.
And so I first thought that was her mother. First time I watched it, I thought it was her mother off in the distance the whole time. I don't know.
Mm.
And I don't know what's going to happen. So Lee, I see you rolling your eyes a little bit, but I just really want to find out what's going on behind those rolled eyes.
Well, I'll say it now. If we wasn't reviewing this series, I'd have walked away from this series by now. I just thought I'd get that out there.
You don't say.
This story it was set up for some great potential. It started off as a scary, sort of a ghosty, spooky thing. Then it went into this political side of it.
The no nuke side?
Um, right. I sat through all that, and I didn't learn anything. There was nothing answered. Nothing answered. There was no explanations of why things had happened. Like there was no explanation why the doctor vanished. There was
Uh-huh.
nothing said. There was no explanation why the old woman was Ruby's future.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing explained there.
And how that time slip happened
Yeah, nothing explained. And it was never explained what she said to people to make them scream and run away.
Yeah.
N- Nothing explained there. Um, you had a sort of a setup for a great villain in Mad Jack, the Prime Minister.
Oh God, like another Saxon. Oh my God.
Wasn't the, he wasn't given anything to do. He didn't prove his villainousness to me on screen. He didn't do anything to be a villain,
Except for he did buy all those nuclear weapons from Pakistan.
but he didn't do anything. He wasn't he didn't
You don't think buying a bunch of nukes isn't a bad thing?
but he didn't do anything villainous on screen. Um, if you're
But
having a villain like,
isn't it enough to know that he sort of unilaterally super
mm,
armed? Okay.
no, because there's loads of people do that, but he should have come across on screen as quite a villainous person if he's known as Mad Jack, and he wasn't very mad,
Oh,
in my opinion.
all right, all right.
What else was there?
Down to
I mean,
acting.
having Dame Sian Phillips in this,
I know.
the old woman at the bar in the pub.
Uh-huh.
What a waste of an actress. She should have been in it more. To have, Dame Sian Phillips, you think, oh, she's going to be in the
I,
whole. No, she was only in it, what, 5, 10 minutes at the most. Um,
who was she?
there was no theme tune at the beginning for some strange reason. Um,
Yeah, that was weird.
that was weird. And for me, Ruby, yeah, Ruby had a more because I've said in the past, character doesn't do anything for me. She had a lot to do in this, but I'm sorry because it was jumping years, 20 years, 40 years, or whatever. Um, she still she still looked 18 when she was wearing the glasses. So they didn't really age her that well. But for me, and people are saying, this was a great episode, and Shooty wasn't in it. He wasn't in it jumping up and down and dancing and saying honey, um, which really gets on my tits. um, yeah, and apparently the overnight viewing figures is the best of the series so far, which is just a bit strange, isn't it? It's the highest viewing figures this series has got so far, and Shooty was hardly in the episode. Doesn't say a lot for his doctor, does he?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of potential, but they just didn't. For me, it's lazy writing for not explaining or giving you some answers. I mean, they didn't even explain why that uh, circle was there. It didn't know because they were just pulling her leg in the pub, messing about with her. I mean, even
That was I don't no, I think that they were the half of that was real and half of that was you know trying to push away somebody
mm,
from not their village, because that isn't that quintessentially part of village culture, is that no outsiders.
well, that's just
And this isn't being racist either. That whole thing about, the Ruby brought with her to talk about the Welsh, and then she was like, they were like, no, that's racist. But that isn't you know, that's not racist. That's just different cultures.
I
That
mean,
I was but the problem is like people like that cultural difference, like people people have always shown that the people who live in the country in or the villages in the UK hate outsiders. Like it's just part of it.
I mean, also the scene in the
I
pub as
mean,
well.
like think of all the Americans that they've made fun of who've just gone to a village and made the mistake of trying to talk to somebody.
Stay on the road. Um,
Oh my
but
God, it's like
the,
cultural.
the scene in the pub as well. Russell T Davies just literally rehashed Midnight
In a
with
way.
the knocking outside. Everybody, don't let him in. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. That was Midnight, wasn't it? You see, I notice these things, but yeah, great potential. Saying that, I did enjoy it, but I was really disappointed with it as well.
So
Just because
was that Phil,
Sean Dan Phillips, the old woman
Sean
at the bar,
Phillips? The was she the soothsayer for uh Emperor Padishah the first or whatever his number was in Dune
in the David
in
Lynch
the
version.
David Lynch version?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I recognized her lips. She has very um a very unique lips
Mhm.
structure, and I was just like, kind of, oh, couldn't
She really,
remember. But then
she's,
I
she's one of the greatest actresses. The British Isles has produced. I mean, I think she's 91 now or something like that. But
okay.
she's been in so many things. She's been in so many science fiction stuff. She's done Big Finish. She's been in a few Big Finish stuff.
Oh, she
Um,
has. That's
yeah,
freaking
yeah.
awesome. So she is
Um,
really amazing.
and
Oh,
I just thought having her sat at the bar was a waste of her talent. She could have done something else in this story, I think.
maybe she could have been the old woman.
Well, it's like when they had David Warner in the Cold War episode.
Uh
I thought he was wasted in that.
huh.
Get these great actors,
Oh,
and you just
yeah.
don't give them anything to do.
Yeah. Right.
Um, but yeah, as I said,
Well,
to me,
isn't it kind of the same thing as happens with folks who really want to get into a thing? Sometimes people are actually asking for it themselves, you know,
true.
like Daniel Craig wanting to be a stormtrooper. I mean, like I just like let me just take that as like a prime example.
Mm, maybe, but I don't think she'd have asked. I think they would have asked her because
I do too.
I don't think she'd have gone hunting for that what sort of work.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
mean,
man. Like that's
the bad, for me, the bad thing to say is I didn't miss Shoti Gatwa in this, and the name of the show is Doctor Who. He's the Doctor, and I didn't miss him because I have realised over the past few episodes he does annoy me.
oh no.
I thought he'd be a brilliant Doctor,
Uh-huh.
but his prancing about and saying honey all the time is annoying.
Oh, so you were taking the mick when you said that when we started this one.
Mm, um,
Oh, I see.
but I'd say I didn't miss him at all in this.
Huh?
That's bad.
Huh? Oh no.
Um, but overnight ratings 2.62 million, which is bigger than the first episode and the second episode and the third episode.
Okay.
Um, and he's not even in the episode. Oh dear, how ironic. Oh, I bet he's thinking, sat at home thinking, I'm not even in it. But yeah, I was quite disappointed. It's just if you're going to do a story like that, you've got to explain and put answers there.
The only thing that I needed an answer for was how she was in two places at once right there, and
Yeah,
how
just never.
that loop closed.
Yeah, it just never. It's just
I mean, and there wasn't any sort of like shimmer or shake of the camera or anything that even like showed that there was something happening there.
also as well. The Mad Jack situation had really nothing to do with the story because she got brought her older self 73 yards towards the prime minister, but that didn't affect any of the outcome of the story because she was still there 73 yards until she was 80 odd, 80, outside the TARDIS.
No, but that wasn't that was how she saved the world, okay? But the other thing was that she needed to close the loop by showing back up at the
But she didn't have to save the world because the world was still there because the doctor mentioned it. The,
the doctor mentioned it, but the doctor didn't have to mention it on the second time. The second time they start over at the I've been to Wales twice, and they never talk about the prime minister that second loop.
Mm,
So she actually did fuck shit up for that Mad Jack prime minister.
and also as well, the doctor disappeared for in Ruby's lifetime for 60 years,
Yeah,
60 odd. Um, so in those 60 odd years, we didn't have any alien invasions happening, and the doctor never turned up.
and even though there was the doctor like camped out behind Donna Noble's house in London, you know.
Well, this is it. That's another thing. I mean, Russell T Davis is saying now that Ncuti Gatwa is the last of the Time Lords, that his doctor. Well, he can't be because you've got the
What
David
did you
Tennant.
do? Kill off David Tennant's doctor?
Yeah, you've got David
By
Tennant's doctor.
generation, for fuck's sake.
It's lazy writing.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, like I enjoyed the story because it was a long arc, and it was one of those ones like Amy in that sort of thing that looked like the Paradise Gardens, and also it was like it was like um
I mean, I don't know
the
why they did it.
Impossible Actor Astronaut one. It was like the
I mean, I can understand back in the day when you was getting 12 to 13 episodes a season that they'd have to do a Doctor Light episode while he was filming something else. But this is only 8 episodes in this series. I'm thinking, why have a Doctor Light one?
yeah, that's a good question.
Uh, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It's just too many questions and not enough answers in this one.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be it's going to be a real spooky one. This, the woman in the distance, because it reminded me of the M.R. James story. Was it Whistle and I'll Come Running or something like that? Whistle and I'll Come Running.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it was about someone found something on the beach,
uh-huh,
and then in the distance there's this figure.
uh-huh. Oh,
Every time,
wow.
and every time this man sees this figure, it's sort of getting nearer and nearer every time. So that was sort of I got that feeling from it. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like an M.R. James ghost story. And
Yeah,
how wrong I was.
and when she was on the train, I love how that figure just sort of
Yeah,
bebopped along next to her.
yeah. I mean, there was
That was trippy. That was really good. Like there was some like almost weeping angel-ish effects with this
yeah.
lady.
I mean, the
Oh,
73 year.
and Kate Kate Stewart bringing out her device, and everything else is in focus except for her face, her body. I just thought,
I mean, the 73 yards idea worked for, as you would say, for the prime minister's thing.
uh-huh.
But what was the excuse for all the other after that? The 73 yards.
And I'm sorry if all right, I'm sorry, but the other thing was interesting about that whole thing um was the fact that they didn't shoot her when she jumped on the grass. They had all of their guns trained on her and they didn't shoot her. I mean, she had more firepower pointed at her
I
body.
mean, who who in the right mind would shoot someone for walking on the grass?
Well,
I thought that was a bit stupid. That scene. I thought, well, she's only walking on the grass. Why have you got a SWAT team aiming a gun at her? She's walking away from the prime minister. She's not going towards him.
and maybe okay, and here's another thing. And maybe that was to woo the Americans. Like you can't have a fucking show without a gun if you're looking at you're still sending it to America.
You might be right,
Ah, this
but
fucking
yeah,
country.
there was just a lot in this what sort of didn't really gel with me. But it was but as I say, it started fine, and then anyway, what I'm talking away. What you
Well, I've been
one of
talking away too. I enjoyed it. I thought it was spooky. I don't.
do you know what
I
I think?
now that you mention it, with only 8 episodes, what the fuck are they doing with a Dr. Light one? But then there's
Yeah,
always the fact that they had to do something to build Ruby into a better character, and so they had to do something, and so this is their something, and she
mm,
had to watch uh her mother turn her back on her, the unit whole system turn her back on her. She had to watch everybody turn her back on her except for all these men who were dating her or whatever. And she but then the fact that she figured out how to save the world without the doctor was sweet. That was my most favorite part of Ruby's character arc so far, is
and
that
also as well the other young woman in that I can't remember her name now, but she turned around and said, "Oh, he's a monster."
oh yeah,
But there was no evidence. There was nothing
yeah,
there on screen to say he was a monster. I think, well,
yeah, I don't know that.
you've got a
See,
villain. If, you,
who
if, you,
knows?
if you're building up a character to be the villain, a villain like that, you've got to show the villainy in this guy. And they didn't really show it.
Yeah.
Ah, I tell you so. I think as the because every episode we up to now we haven't agreed on. I think it's going to carry on that way all the way through.
It's possible because, like, I'm not hating as much as I that loop question, the fact that Susan's like, no, 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 that was just a little witchcraft that happened right there. I was like, oh, all right.
Was it
Okay.
though? It was never said it was witchcraft.
No, but it was. It just was. And the other
Well,
thing was, is that but they didn't really show, there weren't, I mean, even with a little bit higher budget, you could have done something like shake the camera or
mm.
do a little rainbow effect, something. Show show witchcraft as it is, powerful and beautiful then.
Also, as well, if she's changed the future, that circle shouldn't be there with the Mad Jack scroll.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mm.
That's just come to me now.
All right. Unless she went back and she has to put it there herself in 10 years.
Yeah, because if she stopped him becoming the prime minister, the Mad Jack scroll and all of that shouldn't be in the circle.
Shouldn't be.
No, because she's changed the future. That's
Unless she didn't change the past, which she has to go back for.
so really, RTD there has done a paradox.
I know. God damn it. This fucking show. I love it so much, but it pisses me off.
Oh no, you know how I feel.
Ah, yeah, okay. No, but it's worth it. You know, it is at least the most entertaining. You know, it's just the most entertaining thing on telly right now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if anything else.
You know what? I'd like to do a comparison. We should do some reviews of some of the Star Trek Discovery that's coming up.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it
No.
doesn't like that either.
I I did 4 episodes of the first season and I couldn't go anymore.
Mm,
It's just
Jesus.
I don't know. So anything else you want to say about 73 yards?
No. Uh,
Also, as well, yards is an old measurement
no.
over here.
Yards is an American measurement. I'm
Yeah, well,
sorry,
we used to do yards before and all that, but it's all
but
changed.
we now do yards and we don't do meters and we're not any of this fucking decimal system bullshit. We're still 5,280 feet per mile. I mean,
So
that's what we are here on this side of the pond. It's
that's another
so stupid.
playing towards the American audience with that title.
With that title, and because it also brings to mind the whole 10 yards, the whole 9 yards, all those things that are very American. And, you know, I know it would have been 73 meters.
Yeah,
I mean, they
and
really did. They didn't need to, but they, I,
and there was no reason for them not to have the intro theme tune
I know.
credit. So I don't know why they missed that out.
Did you forget it? Did you forget it and not edit your
They
program
didn't.
right? God damn it, you people.
Anyways,
Anyway.
if we haven't got anything else to
Yeah,
say about
okay.
73 yards, go on then.
So so this the 73 yards episode, I guess it's playing a lot to Americans. I mean, I'm finding it that things would be different if it was strictly a BBC production. They wouldn't have the guns pointing at the girl, and they probably wouldn't have called it 73 yards. They'd have called it 73 meters because a yard is basically a meter. And this is in all fairness to you, Lee, and what you think about this, the fact that I think that sometimes, like, it is good that they do try and build companions up a little bit. You got to have them a little more impressive. And and also, but I just wish, the only thing is I wish there would have been some sort of you know magic stuff, some some sort of supernatural shimmer or whatever at the when the loop closed. And otherwise, how does she step from the past or from the future back into the past? I mean,
They
this is
said
this
there
is
was no.
like the Back to the Past instead of Back to the Future. And in that respect, it's very much like a Weeping Angels. So I'm gonna give and the TARDIS being locked to her. That was also really weird. I don't know what that was. You give her a key and the key becomes cued to her biorhythms. And even though she doesn't have the the symbiotic imprinter inside of her, like to create the TARDIS space, she still has a key, and that shouldn't have been a problem. But anyway, she couldn't go in there, so just I guess just leave it alone. So I'm going to give it 10 TARDISes covered with flowers and mold and lichen and moss and flowers and all sorts of stuff out of 10.
Right. Oh dear. As I say, it did have
Did I say
potential.
10?
You did.
Okay, I just said that kind of out of course. But
Mm.
no, that's not the actual number. It was 8 that I really wanted to leave on it because I mean there were some issues I had with it.
Mm.
I don't know why I think I've been brainwashed to 100% love Doctor Who.
Well, yeah, but
Christ's sake.
you've got to say what you feel.
There are eight
Yeah, and
TARDISes covered with all that
um,
beautiful.
yeah, as I say, it built up for potential, but as I say, it did let me down big time. Um, Questions, no answers. Um, um, I'm going to give this 5. Oh, honey, I'm not in this episode. Out of 10. Maybe that's why I sort of enjoyed it a little bit more because he is a bit annoying on screen. But it's only his first season, so hopefully by the second season he's going to tone it down a bit. Oh, he isn't, is he?
I don't know. I'm
So
happy. I'm happy for him being. Just I didn't even I
I
didn't
don't know.
even reconcile the fact that there was only 8 episodes, and why did they need a Doctor Light one?
Yeah, I mean this is episode 4,
Uh huh.
so we've got Dot and Bubble next week, which I don't like the title of already.
Uh huh.
Um, then you've got Rogue after that, and then you've got a 2-part finale.
Huh. So we
Uh,
only have 3 more weeks of Doctor Who, and then we're back on hiatus again.
yeah,
Oh
the next one will be the Christmas
God,
special.
I'm gonna break it. It's gonna break my heart. Oh,
Have you seen? Have you seen what RTD has come up with now for the finale?
no.
I mean, this is only in the UK. They're going to screen the 2-part finale in cinemas,
Oh, you guys are finally getting the cinema treatment.
but it's 11 p.m. at night.
Oh.
I don't think
No,
there's going to be a big.
that's what happens with all of our premieres. If you go wait in line for Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever, if you're in that line for a couple days and you're waiting for that opening, they always screen at midnight. I'm sorry, but that's what they do, and
But I'm sorry if this is supposed to be a family-friendly show. I don't think families are going to be waiting at
you're
11
you're
p.m.
you'd be surprised.
No, I don't know because not many cinemas are screening it.
Oh, how many?
I don't know because I've been looking on Twitter or X, and people have been
X. Oh my
people
God.
have been asking these cinema branches. Are you going to screen it at this? No, we're not screening it in there. We have no plans to screen it here. We've got no. I'm thinking this is ridiculous. It's a limited screening.
Release.
Yeah, so
Huh.
where it's going to be, don't know. That's on June the 21st, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what's going on.
So that's the first day of summer.
Hmm. And there is also, I mean, there is a rumor in the Whovian circles and online that after this season, um, RTD is going to take a step back
To
because
what?
from being is it the producer,
The
showrunner,
showrunner?
showrunner,
Okay. Well, so
because
he only
Disney
wanted to do the 60th?
because Disney's not happy with what's happening,
Disney's not happy?
and they've got a bit of influence if they have words with the BBC.
Uh-huh.
This is what I've seen on and read, so
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but a lot of people are talking about it.
All right.
Uh,
Well, I I just want somebody who loves the show to take care of it, you know.
mm. Well, at the moment, I just don't feel there's much love coming from RTD. In my personal opinion.
You know, if I had my shit together, I'd offer, but I don't. I haven't done any movies at all, and they
No,
wouldn't. They'd never fucking let me do it.
it'd
They
be a
wouldn't.
bit surreal, wasn't it, if you was doing it?
It would be. There'd be lots of stuff about mushrooms
and,
and
and, and,
space bongs and
Susan would be in it.
Susan Foreman would definitely pre present all throughout.
Oh dear. Anyway, before we set her off on this one, so that's our little review of 73 yards, everybody. Did you like it? Did you understand it? Was everything answered clearly for you in this episode? Um, please leave a message below. You'll find this video on every social media platform. We put it on X and Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Talking to YouTube, if you subscribe to our channel, please press the bell notification and you will get notified when we get put one up. And if you'd like to join us, again, leave a message below on the video where you see it, because I do read comment. There is several comments that I read. Usually it tells us to f off, but uh, but
At least
hey
they're
ho,
saying something.
Lisa says something, yeah. Um, just leave a message there. I am over 18. I would like to join your casts. So all you need is a working camera and microphone on the device you use, really, and we'll see if we can get you on. So just at the moment we're doing the Doctor Who season, but so that's going to finish in
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So we'll get back to normal doing other things after this. So until next time, guys, please stay and watch our videos. Tell everybody about us. Please watch Doctor Who because it needs the ratings. It needs the viewing figures at the moment
All
because
you
it's
in the UK. That's right. We're talking to you because
yeah.
occasionally I'm sure that there's some Americans who are getting sucked into this just by having a gun or calling it 73 yards instead of
Uh,
73 meters.
yeah, well, this is all this is the all the Americanized tweaking they do. Tap faucet, tap faucet.
Oh my God. It's
Am I
so
right?
funny. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Right. So until next time, guys. Please be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.